Hello and welcome back to another episode from Driving Britain. Today we're going to be looking at what little things you would make illegal if you could. Now we're not looking at the big stuff here, we're not on about proper crimes or anything, we're just on about these annoying things in life where you think, oh man, that's just so annoying. If I could stop that from happening, I would. A good example, a personal example at least, are baked beans. Yes, for American viewers, in the UK we really do eat baked beans. You should give them a try, put them on some toast, they're a lot nicer than it looks and sounds. But now beans. Specifically Heinz beans. When you buy a multi-pack, so that you get a pack of 4 or 6 stuck together in some sort of plastic film, you get them home and go to stack them into the shelf, but you can't because one tin won't stack on top of the other. You buy a multi-pack of Branston beans or something like that, they're absolutely fine. Multi-packs from loads of other companies, they're absolutely fine. Just some tin manufacturers make some tins that won't stack one on top of the other. Why do you do that? Yeah, it might be no issue to you because you're stacking them 4 or 6 at a time when you've got them in the shops and on the shelves. But we're buying them and taking them home. What do you think that we're doing with them? Lying them all out in a big line. Stop doing it. If I could make that illegal, if the world could make that illegal, I'm sure they would. I'm sure it's not just me. The other thing I think is really annoying is adverts. They're just so annoying, aren't they? Now, I know that if you're in America, you're probably a little bit more used to watching adverts all day with the odd programme spec all throughout. Well, in the UK, we're the opposite way around. We really hate adverts. Now, I know that they're all the way through our videos and everything, but most of them, we don't have any control over those, and we very rarely make any money from the adverts. Most of our videos are demonetised for one reason or another, usually because we try to bring you videos that we think that you're going to like, and that's not always the type of video that advertisers or YouTube like. Well, actually, it's really strange because YouTube will say, well, actually, we can't monetize this video because we can't really put adverts on there because it's a controversial topic or this, that, or the other. So they demonetize it so that we don't make any money out of it. Not that we make very much in the first place, but it means that we make absolutely nothing. Which is strange because when you press play on a video, you still get adverts all the way through it. So what they really mean is that it can't be monetized for us. For them, that's fine. Apparently, that's not controversial. The video is just fine and all that sort of stuff. But for us, it's apparently a problem. So, well, either way, I think I'll make that illegal. I've just thrown that into the bucket. I didn't even realise that was one of the things, but now I'm thinking about it, that goes on the list. The other thing is that I think is really annoying are thumbnails that make you think that you're clicking on something else. Clickbait. Oh, great. That's it. You've all just stopped listening to the video. You've headed straight to the comment section to start listing down all of our videos, haven't you? I walked straight into that one. Well, for those of you that are still watching the video and not concentrating on what you're scribbling down into the comment section, I think videos where they blatantly lie to you in the thumbnail, that's just annoying. And they make the revenue from the click and all the rest of it, makes the video look popular. We really hate you people. Although, having said that, it is difficult to make decent thumbnails that are attractive enough to make you want to click on it without in some way being false or overboard or something like that with what you're putting on it. For instance, we recently put out a video about was playing a recording from a survivor from the Titanic sinking. Now, you was actually getting to listen to one of the survivors, one of the officers, recording through an interview, a BBC interview, their experience as it was sinking, what they were doing. So you get to hear an actual survivor of the Titanic describing the story themselves. So we wanted to try and portray that through using the thumbnail to let you know that you're getting a story from an officer that was on watch the day of the kind of incident, the day of the sinking. He went off shift, went to bed, and then they crashed. So it was really, really involved with the whole thing. And we need to try and portray that through with the space of a thumbnail. It's really difficult. I know that you've got the writing of the actual title as well, but usually the thumbnail and the title mimic each other to quite a large extent. So sometimes you get clickbait because they just can't get what they want through in the thumbnail. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about blatant ones. They're annoying. But either way, that's enough about me and what annoys me, because otherwise we'll be here all day, because there's plenty that I could add to that list. What's in the video? What sort of things are they going to come up with? I'm hoping that we're going to get some really good, fun, novel things that I've never even thought about, or things that I've thought about but never really thought that everybody else gets annoyed by it as well. Okay, let's get straight into the video and let's have a look.
What little thing would you make illegal just because it pees you off? Designing an ad so that the X to make it go away is really just a facade to make you click on the ad. Mail it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to stop it every time he says at least one of them, because I think we're going to be here for a long time if I do. But yeah, I think that's pretty much at the very top of all of our list, isn't it? How many times have we had some sort of pop-up and there's an X to click on and it's just part of the ad? It's just a scam. You end up going through. I think the other thing that I think is really, really annoying on YouTube especially, because, you know, YouTube's so much into adverts now, it's becoming like a TV channel. I know that we're putting it on YouTube and I'm thankful for YouTube, obviously. But at the same time, when we click on a video, you've got to sit through that minute or 30 seconds or whatever of an advert, haven't you? Now, how many times have you clicked on a video? I watch a lot of YouTube on my TV, and sometimes I'll press pause or something like that, and it'll end up bringing up the status bar at the bottom. And so then I'll press back up to get rid of it. But I take that long in going around to actually going to clear the status bar to get it off the screen, because originally I think it's just going to disappear. But then I think, oh, it's not going to. I'll press the button and get rid of it myself. And then when you do that, you press it just slightly after it disappears, and then it backs you back up out of the video. And then you have to click back on the video again and sit back through that initial advert to get back into the actual video you originally wanted to watch. Now, that might just be me. It might just be because I watch a lot of YouTube on the TV. I'm not sure. But that really does annoy me. Just the same as those stupid little X's on the pop-up ads, and you're going to click the X and it's a false one. It's part of the actual picture. It's just a scam to make you click on it as a clickbait.
Addressed to neighbor or current resident. If you don't know who lives there, you shouldn't be able to spam mail me. It would save a lot of paper and gas, too. Growing a big butt bush on your corner lot house that blocks view of the intersection. Not where I thought you were going when you started out, but agree nonetheless. I thought this person was about to try to outlaw the best kind of bush. You know, Bush's beer? Ugh, no, not even for a joke. Leaving a public bathroom a mess. You know who you are. I'm currently a janitor for a public washrooms, and people are absolute effing animals. Animals! You know how people say everyone should have to work retail for 1 year? No, everyone should have to clean a public washroom for 1 week. 1 week is enough for people to get the picture, trust me. I don't understand how crap gets smeared on the back of the door kind of often, and how used tampons end up on the ground when there is a little bin for it right next to the toilet paper, or how when a toilet gets plugged, people continue to crap into it. You know what I found on Canada Day? A plugged toilet with 6 different diarrheas in there. Seriously! I've realized that people don't associate seeing janitors with the nice and clean washroom they are using. They only associate them with the moment they close the washroom to clean it. I've literally had people yell at me because I had to close a public washroom to clean it. To clean it! And while I'm in there and I put the sign up that says temporarily closed for cleaning, people will knock on the door constantly. As if to say, hey, hurry up cleaning up the crap off that wall. I have to pee on the counter and smash a glass bottle in the toilet. I just...
He's got a point. How many times you go in a public toilet and you think, how did they do that? It's just animals. I used to know someone that, when they was putting themselves through university, they was also working in a reasonably good type of hotel. Wasn't completely top end, but it was a little bit above the middle. And they were saying that, I mean, there was cleaning rooms and stuff like that. It's pretty basic stuff. But they used to hate it, the posher the guest was, because it turned out that posher they were, filthier they were. Just outright animals. They used to kind of try to work out ways to scam each other or play tricks on each other so they could swap around rooms to have to not do that room. They'd much rather go and clean a room from an average working class, standard sort of middle class person that had been in a room rather than somebody on the upper end of the money scale, because they just seem to have absolutely no respect for anybody or anything. And it seems to be, according to them at least, those people that are the ones that are somehow getting things all around walls and all sorts of nasty stuff. How? I don't know. How do you get it on the wall? Just how? What do? You're just filthy people. I don't know who you are, and I don't want to know who you are, but you should not exist. You should be illegal.
Just want to know how you were able to differentiate 6 different kinds of diarrhea from one another. We got that commenter asking the real questions. All canned goods of the same size can no longer have irregular shapes and must fit snugly into one another. I face/zone shelves as part of my job.
Yep, exactly. See, it's not just me. It is infuriating. Stop doing it.
And the cans that do not stack, pee me the F off. I would like a law stating that all companies...
Hey, now I just thought, now this is an American video, I'm obviously in the UK, but I know that Heinz are also sold in the US, but I know that Heinz beans, well, beans themselves, baked beans, aren't very popular in the US. So this person's probably not talking about baked beans, which means that there's at least one other main thing going on, main brand or food product going on out there that's doing it. Maybe it's even worse in America than what it is in the UK. But list down in the comment section other brands that you've come across or other food types that you come across where it's also the same.
Companies must make their cans in such a way that they will stack, making the volume go way up for commercials. Man, that really grinds my gears.
Yeah, that's annoying.
In the US, that actually is illegal. Report those commercials to the FCC if they'll pay attention in the middle of their efforts to destroy the internet, anyway.
In the UK, one of the free channels that you get on kind of your basic TV set as part of Freeview and stuff is Channel 5. I don't know if they was bad nowadays, but when they first came out, they would put blaring adverts on. You'll have your program on. Say if your volume was set at 20, when the advert came out, you'd need to put the volume down to literally about 13 or 14 because they were so much louder. It should startle you into watching it, I think, but it's just so stupid and annoying.
Clickbait videos with the little red circle pointing out nothing. You won't believe what happens next. Click here. Nothing. Nothing else happens. I report all those as spam. Websites asking me to subscribe to their newsletter immediately after I visit them for the first time without even having the chance to look at their content. You've spent 1.8 seconds on our site. Would you mind taking a survey? Or worse.
Yeah, you get that on YouTube a lot as well, don't you? You click on a video to watch it, and all you're really bombarded with for the first 5 minutes is somebody trying to tell you to subscribe to their channel. You haven't even watched the video yet. How do you know if you want to subscribe? And it's exactly the same as what he's saying with these newsletters and all the rest of it. I mean, there's one, I don't think it's Wikipedia, but one of them, you click on it. I know that in the UK, one of the newspapers, the Times or the Guardian or something, their online version's the same. As soon as you click on the site, then you instantly get, do you want to subscribe? And then as soon as you get rid of that, then you get another, exactly the same as what he's just said. You get another one come up saying, do you want the newsletter? I don't want any of it. I just want to read that 3-minute story that you advertised that made me click on the advert in the first place. But yeah, videos on YouTube, you get bombarded with subscribe, thumbs up and all the rest of it. I think we've literally just clicked on the video. How do we know whether we want to do any of those things yet? Of course, I know that you will have all subscribed and clicked thumbs up on our videos by now because you're just ace.
Have to sign up for free to see what was referenced in my search query, or to install their stupid app when I visit from mobile. Junk mail and flyers filling the mailbox, and believe it or not, I still get 3-inch thick phone books every few months. Who is paying to get those made? Don't they realize the world just Googles if they need a number now? Waste of money, trees, and...
I don't think we've had the phone books delivered in the UK for at least 10 years. Or the Yellow Pages, which is, you know, kind of a business version of the same thing.
Space. I actually got a phone book in my mailbox a few months back, and my partner and I were like, they still make these? Why? Then we saw it was actually addressed to our 80-something-year-old neighbors, and we were like, oh. Installing blindingly bright floodlights on your truck and turning them on while driving at night. I don't see why people would be willing to endanger everyone on the road around them just to look like a douchebag.
In the UK, one of the worst cars or vehicles for that are Range Rovers. Extremely bright lights, and because of the height of the vehicle as well, it means that for most cars, they just beam you, just dazzle you completely. And if you are driving in an unlit road, yeah, they might be able to see more originally. So it means that they're not going to run into the verge or something, but instead what they're going to have is a head-on crash because they've just blinded us.
People that stop their cars to have a conversation with someone on the street or in another car, especially when there is no way around them. That's when you just hold the horn. I'm going to remove the vehicle from this situation. People who stop and check their phone or bag while standing in the exit of the grocery store. I don't care if the president is calling you. Walk 5 more feet out of the exit so I can leave, you inconsiderate dong. Littering. Oh, wait, not like anyone seems to realize that it's illegal. Oh no, people realize, they just fail to care. Spitting chewing gum out and sticking it anywhere. It's filthy when you accidentally touch someone's gum stuck under a table. Whoever started the various swallowing gum urban legends is responsible for this. I've been swallowing gum for probably 10 of my 19 years on this earth and have never had a problem with it. Putting your house number anywhere on your house. I deliver pizza. The paramedic community endorses this law as well. Fire rescue piggybacking on that, B. It is illegal in my city. I thought it was in most. Maybe check and report them. City of Cal...
Yeah, in the UK, I don't think it's illegal not to put your house number or name visible to the street. I think it's just entirely up to you. But at the same time, if you want to actually get parcels and you want to get pizzas and stuff delivered, you probably should make sure that you've got something visible. And like they say, you need to call for emergency services. Last thing you need is for them to be strolling up and down the street trying to work out which house is yours.
Calgary addressing bylaw. Under the Community Standards bylaw, addresses must be clearly visible from the roadway, clearly displayed at the back of your property. If adjacent to an alley or public walkway, this will assist emergency services. Fines for...
Yeah, we wouldn't go quite that far in the UK. We just go far enough to make sure that we get our pizzas when we expect them.
Violations of these regulations range between $100 and $300. I deliver pizza. God bless you. A clique of people walking in a horizontal line that practically devours the entire sidewalk and then are still somehow entirely oblivious to the fact that they are doing so or just explicitly don't care. Instead of moving out of the way, I come to a complete stop on my side of the sidewalk. They will either walk right into you and apologize since it was obviously their fault, or abort at the very last second, which looks hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to extend that out to cyclists. In the UK, our roads are fairly narrow. It's illegal for cyclists to ride two abreast. Well, I think it's still illegal. It used to be anyway. I assume it still is. So you can't ride side by side as you're going down the road, because in the UK you're supposed to give cyclists, I think, a 6 foot width as you go around them. Well, that puts you clearly on the opposite side of the road already. Realistically, I think most drivers will probably give them about 4 foot, because otherwise it's borderline not safe to even get around them, which means that you're going to be stuck behind the cyclist for as far as they're cycling. That's not realistic, so people are going to do it. But now when cyclists are two abreast, then people have got to swerve out even further to try and get round, and that makes it even more dangerous. Okay, if you've got a nice open bit of road to get round, then that's fine. But this is the UK. The chances of getting a complete long straight length of road, no other cars around, that sort of stuff, when most people are out driving, it just doesn't really happen. So cyclists put themselves in a much more vulnerable position for people trying to squash past them by riding two abreast. It's annoying for car drivers and it's dangerous for the cyclists. Just don't do it.
Works well. I would recommend. I just walk into them on my side of the sidewalk. 99% of the time, they get the message and move. I ain't getting my shoes dirty for you to walk 3 wide next to your friends. Or give you the stink eye like you're the problem. Having videos that autoplay with audio on a website. Those websites freak me the F out because I never know where the sound comes from. And now Facebook has it. I am so glad that at least now browsers have a little speaker icon on the tab that plays music. I can almost hear a bunch of people screaming, "Wait, it does?" Yep, look at this tab in your browser and hey, speaker icon! Unless you use a weird browser like Opera with its little dedicated side tabs for Twitter and such, like...
Yeah, I think it is annoying. If you end up with an advert coming up, it shouldn't start screaming something at you, some type of music. The amount of time that I've had to leave my phone with the audio turned down, not the ringer, but the just the normal audio for YouTube videos, that sort of stuff, because you want to try and click on something, you want to look through things, but you don't want to have the phone suddenly blaring out some sort of music. They shouldn't be able to do that. You should have to physically click on it to make sound, not have to click something to stop the sound.
Like I do. Took me a solid minute to figure out where music was coming from once. Companies putting crappy stickers all over the product that sticks to the item when you try to peel it off. Come on, I know I'm not the only one. Auto dealerships that put their stickers on the back of cars they sell. Removing this sticker is the first...
I bought a saucepan just a couple of days ago and it stuck a sticker on it, and I managed to get the sticker off the outside of it, but there's a residue of glue that's still stuck there. No matter what I've put on there, I can't get it off, even with using kind of mild sort of chemicals, because the type of pan, I don't want to put something too harsh on there, but I can't get the glue off. So as soon as you do anything with it, things start to stick to that gluey area. I've had one where they've stuck the sticker on the bottom, which was less visible, but it meant that it instantly started to kind of burn up and burn differently when it was on the cooker. In the end, it started to kind of eventually make it more of a mark and a bit more damage to that part of the pan. Don't do it. Stick it in a way that can be undone, or use low-tech stickers.
thing that I do once I get a new car home. Last time I bought a new car, I special ordered it from the factory. The salesman was supposed to ensure that the dealer sticker was not placed on the car after it was delivered. It was. Fortunately, some sticker remover, lighter fluid, or goof-off took it off and left zero residue. I once got a mirror from a craft store. They put a giant sticker right in the center. Not one of those plasticky stickers that peel off pretty easy, one of those super heavy-duty ones that leaves all the leftover paper gunk on it. I scrubbed with soap and water and eventually broke the mirror. Why would you put that kind of...
Yeah, totally, yeah. Oh, I know it's not just things like the saucepan, there's loads of stuff that we buy and stupid companies put stickers on it. I think putting them on your car, sticking a sticker to your paintwork or something, that's outrageous. They shouldn't do that. In the UK, they tend to put their name on the registration plate so that you can get new plates made, but they know that no one's going to. Whereas they know that if they put a sticker on it, you're probably going to moan about it and you're going to put it straight off. Putting it on a registration plate means you've actually got to buy complete new reg plates to get rid of it, and they know that no one's going to bother.
Sticker on a mirror. Answering your phone and not excusing yourself from the room to have the conversation. Hold on, I need to talk loudly to this person over the phone and completely ignore/disrupt the people who are still in the room. This annoys me to no end. I have a friend who loves to do this.
That's a bit rude.
I think she likes the attention of being disruptive, or is just so proud she has a cell phone, which, you know, everyone has. My wife does this. She'll come in the room and sit next to me already talking on the phone and gets peed that I don't turn down the TV. And I'm like, B? I would make any sort of malware and pop-up ads illegal. Malware illegal. That's gonna stop them. Playing any type of car noise like honking during radio commercials. I can't tell you how much time it's thrown me off while driving. I'm surprised there hasn't been more car accidents caused by this kind of stuff. The worst are siren sounds. I've legitimately...
Yeah, I've heard sirens in music tracks before now. And you are looking around, you can't tell whether it's coming from your stereo or whether it's an actual siren. Main noises like ambulance, fire type sirens, police sirens, they shouldn't be allowed to implement them into music tracks or play them on the radio. They should be withheld. It should be illegal because that's just dangerous. I know of at least a dozen times when I've heard sirens being played. Yeah, the same sort of sirens as what you get from the emergency services, not just, you know, like a club music siren or something like that. I mean, actual mimicking proper sirens.
I considered filing an FCC complaint about siren sounds in radio ads. I always slow down and start looking around for ambulances or fire trucks before realizing it's just a effing Jimmy John's commercial. Yes, can I accelerate through this intersection, or am I going to get T-boned by a fire truck? Some commercials, for instance, stop smoking aids, simulate stress by having an alarm clock mixed with annoying office noises, etc. We should jail...
There's a TV advert that's on at the moment and they play a doorbell sound as part of their advert, and that's really annoying because it's the exact same doorbell as what we've got, and every single time I don't know whether somebody's pressing the bell or not. Just don't do it. It's just annoying. You know that if you can buy it, then somebody else has bought it, which means that you're probably going to be annoying at least a fifth of the population listening to your advert, your song, or whatever's on there. Just don't do it. We would make you illegal if we could.
Those responsible retroactively. I request that we take all those sounds and just replace them with the about to drown music from the early Sonic the Hedgehog games. I'm pretty sure if I heard that, I would immediately veer off the road in a scream.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Anybody that's got a link to it, put it in the description so we can all see it or all listen to that.
Screaming panic. Making unnecessary modifications to a website's user interface that severely impede the site's previous use without making them optional. I'm looking at you, Mr. Hey, here's some tweets you already read in case you missed it. Oh, and we made likes work the same way as retweets for no reason. Twitter. I hate this. Instagram made their posts so random or popularity based, I don't know, instead of chronological order like they had it to begin with. The old way was better and helped you see/keep track of...
Yeah, I think it's really annoying for two reasons. One, because exactly that, you don't know. You want to see it in chronological order. That's how we're used to things, and then we can keep track of what we have and haven't looked at. But also it means that all that people get to see are popular things. Well, how do you have new popular things if people are always kind of being pushed to the same narrow set of so-called popular things? You know, you get 10 things that are trending and everybody's just exposed to those 10 things on and on. It makes it very difficult for anything else to become, well, trending, because everybody's being pushed towards those same 10 things. They don't get further down the list. Whereas before, if things were worth reading or anything like that, or looking at or watching, and they was being displayed in their natural order as they're kind of uploaded or whatever, then it means that if something was good, then it gets clicked on, it gets thumbs up and all that sort of stuff, and it gets highlighted and it starts to trend because it's good. Not because people are being steered to it and it's the only options they're being given. I think that chronological order is definitely the better way, and that's how it should be. It keeps the playing field even as well. You know, things like YouTube, you definitely want things to come up in chronological order as much as possible, but it doesn't. It comes up with what they think you might want to watch based on what's currently popular. So it means that the videos that you're offered are from a very narrow selection of videos in the first place, rather than everything out there, because that'll be obviously too overwhelming. But at the same time, it does narrow down everything you get to see.
Of everything posted. Now it's madness. Playing music out loud on public transport. Headphones. Such a good invention. The bums do that here in Portland. They'll hop on the train with their radio and it barely picks up an FM station, so it's just a bunch of static with a few words sprinkled in here and there. So not only are you stuck listening to the radio in morning rush hour, but it's on a static station and you can't change the channel. I believe there's a deep circle of hell where this happens to very bad people. Also, kids watching obnoxious videos on their parents' phone. I'm not a morning person. Don't have kids. I don't want to hear your kids' stupid videos or music. Headphones, people. If you can't afford the newest iPhone, please do us daily commuters a favor and buy headphones. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, people seem to think that because it's kids using the phones or playing the game, whatever, that they should in some way be excused from the rule of decency. But that's not the case. They're just as annoying if they're making the games click and make all the stupid little annoying tunes that play with these games.
Might I also recommend bone conduction headphones? That way you can still hear what is going on around you because they don't cover your ears while you're listening to your music or whatever. I wear mine out and about all the time. I have a million, but putting your stupid flyers on my car windshield, who said you could put that there? Rule 1, don't touch the car. Don't touch any car but your own. Leaving shopping carts in parking spaces. The place to return it is right there. As a cart pusher for Costco, this drives me absolutely nuts because it's a legitimate safety concern for cars trying to pull in, and if the cart is on an incline, it'll probably end up rolling into some poor bastard's car and he'll blame me. Tesco car park once, my buddy and I finished loading the beer into the car and I took the trolley back. On the way back to the car, the person one space away from us who had been unloading jumped in her car and zipped off. Her trolley, on a slight incline, jogged by the gust of air as the car moved away at speed, started rolling right across the roadway towards another car. I leapt after it and managed to pull it away from the car in time, returning it to the corral. On my way back to my buddy's car, the guy whose car I had just saved called after me, "Hey, you want to be more careful?" He'd been standing there, facing our direction, and seen the whole thing happen. The C.
Yeah, I think that in the UK, we mostly don't have that sort of problem. And when we do, I think people are still kind of very British about it, because most people will put the trolley back in the trolley stall, the stand or whatever you want to call it, their little bay. But you do get some people where they just can't be bothered to, but they won't just abandon them in the middle of the area like what he's describing. They'll do it in more of a British way. They'll push it to the side so it's kind of propped up against a curb or something. So they're not taking it back, but at the same time they're not really leaving it in the middle either. They push it to the side, and like a half-hearted version of not putting it away but putting it somewhere a little bit better than just leaving it rolling around the middle of the car park.
Mosquitoes. F them. I know this is more American-based, but riders on legislation. The budget should...
Yeah, midges. They should be exterminated. Especially the Canadian midges that you get in Scotland. They're really vicious. They just drive you insane, they do.
Outline the budget and not track on trash bills of law to get things in. Needs to be one bill, one issue. Pop-up and on-click ads, especially the on-click ads. That crap just gets way annoying. I get it. It's the price I have to pay for not being able to afford to watch the series legally, but putting 7 on-click ads on the play button is just cruel. The worst is when you intend to click something but miss by a few pixels and wind up clicking into ad hell. Last time I did that, I got...
Yeah, that's like what I was on about with the YouTube videos, where you got to back out of it a little bit. but you end up backing out too far and go completely out of the video and then have to press play again and sit back through those first adverts. It's really annoying.
Into an ad trap that was the worst thing ever. Text-to-speech audio, epilepsy graphics, a dialogue that prevented closing the window, then did a refresh to prevent Chrome from detecting it was continuing to pop up window close dialogues. Flickered between windowed and full screen mode, kept popping up a dialogue to install a connection. If they could have made my computer pee oil on floor, they would have done it and set it on fire. I had to kill all the Chrome processes from the task manager to find the right one to silence that BS. I want to murder whoever is responsible for those kinds of ads, and I'm pretty sure no jury in the world would ever convict me. Or when you intend to click something and then an ad at the top of the page finishes loading, moving what you were about to click on. That's the one that gets me, especially...
Oh, that's not so bad nowadays, but when mobile phones were first bringing out the internet and stuff, I remember, especially on tablets and things, and on the computer, you get a page loading and you go to click on the button, but then the page finishes loading and the button ends up on a different part of the screen. So you end up clicking something completely different, which then makes it start loading into something else, and then you're back to the same sort of thing. You end up with a new page and you want to click something else, but then you think, well, has it loaded now? Can I click it yet? Luckily, it's not quite so bad now with a bit faster internet and a bit better apps and things like that, but it still happens and it's still really annoying.
On mobile. I've got dumb fingers in general, and when I go to click on something and an ad just suddenly moves everything on the screen, suddenly I'm off on a journey to the land of ads. Adding people to Facebook groups without their permission. I don't care about your Janberry wraps, Jen. Why are 50% of women I went to high school with now selling crappy jewelry or health drinks? One chick that my wife and I went to high school with hunts down antiques and resells them on her Facebook page at crazy markup. Every effing thing is labeled vintage. I'd drop her, but she's got a bit of drama that keeps me entertained. Caitlinton.
Yeah, I think that they shouldn't be able to, in any sort of platform, no one should be able to add you to something unless you're the one that's trying to add yourself, whether it's some type of WhatsApp or maybe a WhatsApp because, I don't know, maybe it's a group that you need to be part of. You're not going to know it's there until somebody starts it up, but then you've got the hassle of them trying to leave. I don't know, I'm not sure there's a good way around it, but yeah, people adding you to lists that you don't want to be on, that is annoying.
And has left the group. Letting your small children make noise and F about unattended inside the movie theater during a movie that they can't appreciate, understand, or shouldn't watch. Don't take your 7-year-olds to see Logan if they can't be quiet or sit still for F's sake. I went to see Lego Batman and was fully prepared to be irritated by noisy kids because it comes with the territory. What I did not expect was a little boy crying and shouting behind me for a good 30 minutes because he couldn't find his dad, who had decided to sit at the opposite side of the theater to his own son, and then presumably listen to his own child's increasing distress and the restless concern of strangers for ages before actually coming to get him. Crappy parenting at its finest. Still an...
Yeah, we don't really get that quite as bad in the UK, but yeah, annoying people in the cinema. I think that's a world problem, isn't it? There should be a separate room. When you used to play Grand Theft Auto, I don't know if they still do it, I've not played it for a while, but when you play GTA, if you do something wrong, then you can get put into a separate server if you're playing online. And so you have to play with other people that aren't playing by the rules as well, that being bad players, I guess. I think that cinemas should have something like that. Should be assigned labels, seating, and should have a scale, and if a certain amount of people kind of, I don't know, give you a downward tick, then you should only be able to go into the annoying screens or something like that. There should be a cinema version of it.
An awesome movie, though. Listen, kid, Batman doesn't have a dad either, and you don't hear him crying. When I went to see The Dark Knight Rises, I thought something like this was going to happen with a little boy in the audience. He piped up exactly once when the Man of Steel trailer came on. Superman! And then quiet the rest of the film. Kid is a shining example to all. Okay, so I'm in a packed theater to see Avengers Endgame. Sitting right next to me are two kids who look to be about 6 or 7 years old. The first half of the movie, they were climbing around on their seats, jumping on them, laughing and making noise. It was awful. Funny enough, though...
Yeah, generally, again, I'm going to say in the UK, but... Generally in the UK, you don't tend to get people like that. Because obviously there are people like that, but I mean, you wouldn't get them in the cinema very often. Would somebody get up and actually complain? Probably not.
I'm pretty sure those kids would have actually improved my experience watching The Eternals. Oh, how Marvel has fallen. Fake advertisements on the internet. You can't run fake ads on TV. Why is it no problem to make fake ads on the internet? Edit. Everyone here says, what are fake ads? Or they still allow fake ads on TV? In my country, false advertising is forbidden on TV. And the fake ads you mentioned still promote real products. The ads I find fake are the ones selling ways to become a millionaire or lose weight quickly, the clickbait kind of ads.
So really about half the videos that you see on YouTube during the little advert bit that you get come up when you're waiting to watch the actual video. How many times have we sat there waiting for your video to start and you've got to sit through that 30-second advert or whatever it is on the fixed timer, while some bloke on a stage set of an aeroplane tells you about how he became a millionaire and all the rest of it, and how you could also be a millionaire if you just give him your money. The planes that they use for those sort of videos, they're fake planes. You can hire them. I think it's in California or somewhere like that. Someone add it to the comment section if you know where the place is. But I'm sure that there's something like $200 for the hour. And it's not a whole plane, it's just a set basically. It's 2/3 of a plane, everything from behind the camera outwards. There's nothing there, no plane. It just makes it look like there's a plane. And so they look like they're sitting there on their jet. You get a lot of YouTubers that pretend that they've got the high life and all the rest of it, going in now, hiring them, making out that they're getting a private jet somewhere or other. But they're not. It's literally like a film studio plane. They're not real. And you get those crappy adverts that keep popping up that you can't get rid of. Apologies if you had to sit through one of them to watch this video. It wasn't within our control. I know that some YouTubers seem to be able to choose what type of ads that they have on their channel, but we're not one of them. We're just not big enough.
It's simply a fact that the internet is a far harder entity to police than TV. Basically comes down to enforcement. Pseudoscience recently and is not only keyboard warriors who claim to be an expert in everything. There's a trend where YouTube is filling with investigations and research which is not conducted in a proper way. So they base themselves on iffy sources and claim to be the scientific truth. But the way it is presented, it seems legit enough, and if you're not an expert yourself, the mistakes are not that easy to spot. A nice example to show what I'm talking about: ancient aliens built the pyramids, debunked. For a long time, I was convinced the scientific community could anchor the uncolored reality, whatever popular belief and crappy journalism would be, but seeing the sheer mass of misinformation, express or accidental, I am getting scared for the results on the long-term memory of mankind. Mainly
yeah, I watch quite a lot of the videos where they're, fails type videos, bad day at work, that type of stuff. Just funny videos. One that you see quite a lot are people where they're going to, I don't know, they're trying to make a new cake or something, and they're trying to show you how to use a brand new mixer and how to make the cake taste great or something like that. But then halfway through it all goes wrong, the mixer flies to pieces and covers them in chocolate sauce or something like that. But it's only at that point that you realise that they've never done it before. There's so many how-to type videos on YouTube where people are standing there telling you exactly how to do things. It's only when you see the kind of bad day at work type videos that you realise that most of them, they've not even ever done it before. They're literally trying to teach people how to do something that they're at that very moment learning how to do themselves, while trying to make out that they're some type of expert at it. And YouTube is just full of it. Not just YouTube, yeah, I'm speaking about YouTube because we're on YouTube. So it's not that YouTube's got the worst of the worst or anything like that. It's just easy to make reference to it. It's all social media platforms.
Because not every single detail is worth fully investigating, and a number of small unfunded assumptions have a much greater impact than you would expect. People using...
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, it's like he mentioned the pyramids one. There's a big thing that goes around the internet from time to time, and it's showing the helicopter symbol as a hieroglyph on a pyramid, or above a pyramid or archway or something. And it does look like a helicopter, and next to it looks like a spacecraft. The part that people don't tell you is that back in that era, when somebody new took over ruling the country or the area or the pyramid or whatever, they would then have new hieroglyphs added on top of the ancient ones. So sometimes they would literally just try to chisel it into a new feature. Other times they would add some type of plaster to it and then put the new one on top, and all sorts of stuff like that. So like the helicopter one, it's actually two hieroglyphs together, whereas it looks to our eyes like it's one, but it's not. It's basically like writing two letters one on top of the other. They don't point that bit out, do they?
speakerphone and complaining about being victimized when people comment on it. Stop listening to my private conversation. That'd be easier if your private conversation wasn't louder than my max volume music through my sound-canceling headphones, you stupid effing bee. I would like to add to this people putting you on speakerphone without notifying you prior. I had that happen once with my mother-in-law. She wanted to parade me to her church friends at a fancy lunch, I guess, and had me on speaker. What she failed to realize is that I was collecting fecal samples on livestock to check for parasites. Hello? Yeah, hang on a sec. You crap literally all day except when I need a turd. Really? You stinking goat. I will walk behind you with a freaking baggie if I have to, but so help me God I'm not dealing with you getting tapeworms again. All right, I gotta poop. What's up, mother-in-law? And that's why nobody puts me on speaker anymore. When I worked on the sales floor, I used to have a coworker who would take every call on speakerphone at max volume, yelling back at them, and he had a tendency to just meander around the department while taking those calls. Super great guy, but lordy. People who, when shopping, block the aisle for selfish reasons. I know aisles are easy to block by accident.
That's something that does happen a lot in the UK, and I think that we're probably, well, I was going to say probably one of the worst, but judging by some things that we've heard happening in the US, maybe not. But yeah, people standing 2 people wide, 2 abreast in a UK supermarket's enough to completely block the aisle, or enough to stop you from being able to get past anyway. And how many times do they do it? Every single time you want to go down any aisle. Old people do tend to be the worst, but not just old people. I've seen it from all sorts of age groups, and they're really annoying.
I just really hate it when elderly people are having a conversation right in the middle and have seemingly blocked out everyone else's existence. And I kind of wish...
Yeah, that happens a lot. That's a UK thing especially, that is. I see that quite a lot. It's really, really annoying. Please don't do that. I know you're gonna.
I could blast an air horn at them. Don't forget the family of 5 who stands in front of the exit door while the mom looks at the receipt. Expand it to people who finish dining and block the entrance finishing their conversation. Or get off the escalator and stop to check their phone or read signs. F them. A machine is slowly bringing me closer to an awkward interaction because you have no thought of things around you. I've lived in small towns where I've had to detour because 2 pickups were parked side by side blocking the road because the drivers were carrying on a conversation. My family calls it the redneck phone.
Yeah, I think that taxi drivers in the UK are probably the worst for that. You get taxis just stopping the road because they're reading where they're going to go next or something like that. You get a lot of that. It's really annoying. But yeah, people parking one next to the other, blocking the road because they want to sit there and have a chat about something. If you pull up behind them and then they, within 20 seconds finish off and then carry on, then that's not too bad. But if they don't, then that's just rude, that is. They deserve to be squirted with a water pistol or something. A proper high-powered one.
Phone call, which is pretty accurate because it always seems to be redneck.
But not during the summer. It should be something worse in the summer.
Doing it. Someone once called in Car Talk to ask if they should leave the truck running during these interactions or shut it off. I've taken to just knocking their cart out of the way with mine while saying a curt, "Excuse me." Man, I love getting old. I just go with a, "Pardon me." They give me death stare. Really? Hold gaze. Hold. They move. I walk past. They say something intentionally loud about me being rude. This pleases me. I always tell my girlfriend, just pretend like you're driving. Stay towards the right and pull the cart further over if you need to. Would you just stop in the middle of the road to check out something?
Yeah, but that's the thing there. You need stuff from either side, don't you? From both the left and the right. Otherwise, I was going to say earlier, just everybody stick to the right or stick to the left or something, but you can't, can you?
You saw? I live on a decently busy street, and yes, people would. My neighbor is often selling cars and stuff that he fixes up, and I hear honking multiple times a week because someone just stopped in the middle of the road to look. Bringing babies to movie theaters. I saw a post once that mentioned some movie theaters do parent/baby screenings of movies or something where people can bring kids/infants to movies, and it's cool because that's what the screening is for. Really wish that was a regular thing. They do this in a cinema in Liverpool called Fact. Also do autistic screenings. You also get to sit on couches instead of chairs and take tea or alcohol in. Brilliant. Oh, also OAP screenings where you get tea and biscuits halfway through or at the end. One of the two.
Sounds like quite a good idea, that does.
I really do want to sympathize with parents on this one, but damn it, there's nothing worse than a screaming baby in a quiet room. It's like we're
Yeah, if you've got a baby and you take them to the cinema and they start crying and they don't stop within a couple of minutes, then you really do need to go back out into the foyer. That's not everybody else's problem. People sympathise with you, sure, but there's a limit.
Designed to react to it or something. This. I went to a midnight premiere for The Dark Knight with my older brother, and some guy sitting probably 20 seats away from us brings a 6-month-old. The child starts crying about 30 minutes in, and he would not walk out. If you think it's okay to bring an infant to a movie premiere and then don't walk out to calm your child in the lobby, then you are a real selfish piece of crap. Clickbait titles. You won't believe what one man made illegal with a comment gone violent/intimate? Not clickbait. Walking through my garden. There have been 3 neighbors walk right through while I was sunbathing today. F off, everyone. Start sunbathing nude. It will either solve your problem or backfire and make it worse. Grandma sharing everything she sees on Facebook. My mother has an obsession with online quizzes. Whenever I see one, I click the little options button in the post and tell it I don't want to see posts from that source anymore. Now I only see them when they come from news sites, which are quickly blocked again. I blocked a lot of stuff like that from relatives that I don't share similar beliefs with. Now I just don't see posts from those relatives anymore. Leaving religious pamphlets/Bible verses or fake money with quotes or messages on them for a server. Regardless of tipping practices in that restaurant, this is just annoying and stupid. Talking during a movie in a movie.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. That sounds like a pretty American thing.
Movie theater. This ticks me off every time. The worst is the god-awful questions in between, like, B, you just saw the same crap as I did, keep up. But the thing that is truly demonic is the person who comes in already seen the movie and keeps telling their friends about what is going to happen moments before it actually happens. F. Everything you stand for. The worst is the god-awful questions in between, like, B, you just saw the same crap as I did, keep up. Who's that guy? The F should I know? He's been on screen for exactly 3 seconds and he hasn't done anything yet. Well, why is he there?
Yeah, that is a bit annoying.
Calling every little cold and sniffle the flu. It's not influenza, you craphead. As well as calling every headache a migraine. People who spit out their gum in parking lots and public walkways. That is illegal in some places, like...
Yeah, I think it's illegal everywhere in the UK. Littering overall is, but there again, I don't know that anybody that's ever actually been fined for littering. Well, I've seen a lot of people that should be fined for littering, especially chewing gum.
Where there's anti-littering laws, usually a small fine like £80. I'm from the US and every once in a while I'll drive by a sign that says, littering fine $300. That's pretty serious about it in the Woodlands area, but of course it's rarely enforced because a cop would have to catch you in the act. It's a shame. 80 pounds small, look at Mr. Moneybags here. What's that Final Fantasy quote you see around all the time? If the penalty for a crime is a fine, then that law only exists for the lower class.
Yeah, that's a very good point, isn't it? I think that's the same with parking and parking fines and things like that. A lot of people that have more money than they have sense do see things like double yellow lines and things like that in the UK, which means no parking, or a red line that means no stopping and stuff like that. They just stop there and park there knowing that they're going to get ticketed, but they just see it as priority parking. They know they're going to get a fine, but they don't care because the fine means nothing to them. So yeah, I think that's a very good quote.
Ask your doctor about prescription medicine commercials. As someone from the UK, I effing love those things. We don't have them here for fairly obvious reasons, and I never believed they were actually real until my American girlfriend showed me some on YouTube. It's insane. They're literally going, "Are you dying? Is it bad? I bet it's bad. Wouldn't you like to be better? Well, give us your money, and maybe you will." And also the disclaimers in the end. Don't use if you are pregnant, have high blood pressure, allergic to this or that and those, take the other medication or supplements, are old, are young, eat spaghetti at least once a week, never drank milk. Side effects might be headaches, random passing out, diarrhea, amnesia, AIDS, cancer, sudden hate for everything purple, hearing loss, blindness, loss of half your IQ, loss of the will to live, loss of your firstborn. Well, if it makes you feel better, there's only 2 countries that allow it,
pretty popular in the US
and New Zealand.
Yeah, I know they're really popular in the US and in New Zealand. The other thing that you get in the US that you don't get in the rest of the world, or at least not in the UK, are lawyers, solicitors, advertising on billboards and TV adverts and things like that. You might get a solicitor, a law firm, advertise on a billboard now and again, but not very often. and that'll be a low-key one on the side of a small building and probably outside of the front of their own building. You wouldn't get it on one of those big billboards like you get at the side of the motorway or freeway or whatever. You don't get them on TV, and you don't get medicines advertised on TV like that. The newest that you get are things like Nurofen, just basic over-the-counter headache-type tablets. That's all you're allowed to advertise in the UK. But in the US, it's completely different. They'll try to sell you anything and everything and then tell you to go to your doctor and tell the doctor what you want them to prescribe you, which is kind of a little bit backwards to how you should be doing it, which is why it's banned in most of the countries.
All or nothing mentality, specifically in games / movies, etc. If people like something, it's good. If you don't, it's bad. It drives me nuts when people say things are definitively one or the other unless you use objective evidence. My favorite example of this is if I enjoy something but offer criticism, I catch all kinds of crap because I dare criticize something so great. It drives me effing batty. I would like to put a time limit on ATM use. Take card out of wallet, insert card and enter PIN. Choose increments of cash, view balance, etc. Take cash? 1. F no. Repeat steps 1 to 3 for 15 minutes. You're missing step 3A.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that. I've had people hang around a bit longer than they should have, or moving a bit slower than what I would have preferred, but nothing like that. If you've had somebody like that where they're literally 10 minutes using the ATM, then put it in the description, or is that just an American thing again? We seem to be balancing a lot of stuff on America here.
A. View balance, feel deep gut-wrenching sense of personal failure and overwhelming dread, fight back tears, think desperately about which organ you can most afford to live without. I wouldn't make a law to limit someone else's freedom for my own comfort. Instead, I would choose to make it legal to open palm B-slap people who do things that annoy me. Freedom slap for people who get on an elevator before mother effers get off the elevator. Not having partitions between urinals. Bear with me here.
Can you imagine that? All the people in life that annoy you through the things that they do, like getting in front of you when you're using an elevator, or people trying to get onto the tube or train when people are still trying to get off, things like that. If there's some sort of, I don't know, like a Matrix version where just enough people think that they're annoying so that just a hand automatically appears in the air and slaps them around the face, like a cartoon game.
There are so many regulations in bathrooms, from electrical to plumbing code to ADA, but for some reason, having a boundary between a place where two men are standing 2 feet apart with their D's out is not something that anybody thought to make a regulation? A little privacy and a little shielding against pee splatter is too much to ask, I guess. I think this might be illegal in other countries, but here, every mother effer who has a sport bike does it. They go full thrust at 2 a.m. while you are sleeping and give you heart attacks in the middle of the night. Mother effers. It breaks noise ordinances in most places, but the issue is tracking them down. Unless a cop is around and cares when it happens, nothing will happen to them. I agree, but I think worse are the rattling, tiny little dirt bikes that sound like a roided wasp in a bean can. Early bird specials on weekdays. This is why old people are on the roads during rush hour, and this is why 50 people are stuck behind one car going 35 and a 55 trying to get to work on time. Once someone reaches a certain...
Yeah, I think that if you drive substantially lower than the speed limit, you should be automatically ticketed. There's enough cameras on the road now, they should be able to pick you out. If you sit in the UK, the overtaking lane on a motorway or dual carriageway is the right-hand side. So in the UK, if you sit on the right-hand side, dawdling when you should be in the left lane, so people can get past you, you should be ticketed, and we should be able to take your car off you for a week every time you do it. In the US, that's people on the left. They're just sitting there in the left lane, blocking you from getting past and forcing you to have to undertake, which is, in the UK, that's illegal. So you either sit behind them for the entire duration, or you undertake, or you go behind them and hope that they notice you, which they're not going to, or you start flashing your lights, which then puts you into being the aggressive driver behind. Just don't do it. Just drive properly.
At a certain age, people should have to take a driver's test at least once a year. Old people vote more than young people, so this will never get voted into law. I would gladly give my time to a cause that would get this voted in. Old people, nothing against you, but some of you absolutely should not be on the road anymore. And the fact...
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the people that I see pulling out onto, in the UK at least, I guess it's the same every country, but say on a motorway, you're driving along, in the UK we drive on the left, so you're in the left lane, which is like the slow of the 3 lanes. New cars coming onto that lane will be coming from the left slip road onto the road. So if you're in the US, you're in the right lane, you've got cars coming from the slip road on the right to join the motorway or dual carriageway or freeway, whatever you're on. Well, now, the amount of people that's joining that road, joining your freeway or motorway, that seem to think that everybody else should move out of their way so that they can join, rather than adjusting their speed so that they integrate themselves into the traffic. It just seems to be a really big thing nowadays. People joining new roads are the ones that need to integrate. You shouldn't expect everybody else on the motorway or freeway or whatever it is that you're on to suddenly speed up or slow down to accommodate your driving. Most people generally will, just out of politeness, but people shouldn't expect you to do it. The amount of people I've had just kind of glide out in front of me, where I've had to speed up or slow down because they're just blatantly either not looking or don't care. They're just coming out and just expect everybody else to move around them. And that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be the one integrating onto the new lane. And the amount of people that sit in the fast lane, the overtaking lane, the right-hand lane in the UK, the left lane in the US and so on. But the amount of people that sit in that lane and just dawdle along, I don't think that they are always the old people. They're usually younger people, if anything, younger and middle age. Almost always they're younger than 50, usually younger than 30, I think. 30 and younger, that's the age group that I see the most driving the worst. And we're a driving channel. We're an authority.
The fact that you are isn't just annoying, it's dangerous. Old men in hats in particular. You know who you are. Being rude to service people. Why would anyone ever do that? It's baffling. Hey you, yeah you buddy, the D-head in the apron to whom I am about to relinquish complete control of whatever I put into my mouth for the next 2 hours. Yeah, F-face, get over here. People driving slow in the passing lane. More and more places have laws against
people being rude to staff at restaurants and stuff like that. In the UK, it doesn't happen anywhere near as much as what it does, from what we see on the videos and stuff at least, as what it does in the US. But in the UK, the group that it tends to happen the most with, it seems to be a younger population that are the rudest.
Against this as time goes on. Drives me insane when I see someone merge onto the highway with nobody in front of them and go straight to the left lane. Makes me want to effing run them off a bridge. Can we add to that, not getting up to speed when merging onto the highway? If you have a huge stretch of ramp to get up to speed and you try to get onto this 65-mile-per-hour highway at 35, I will hate you so hard.
Yeah, and you get cars pulled out onto normal roads as well. They're called A roads in the UK, but normal roads that are still quite fast roads. A lot of the A roads in the UK are still 60-mile-an-hour roads, and you get a lot of people pull out on them, and then they'll just dawdle along, and you have to aggressively brake to make sure you don't run into them.
You might actually feel it. Please leave your story.
Okay, looks like we're at the end of their video. Some quite funny things that's come up there. There's also a lot of things that I personally relate to, and I'm guessing there's probably quite a few things that you recognise on there that probably annoy you as well. If there's anything else that you can think of that they've not mentioned, add it to the comment section. Or if you've seen something and you think, yeah, I've had that, add it to the comment section how it's affected you, so we can spread a few more funny stories throughout the comment section. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you have enjoyed it, click the thumbs up.